Well, so you just created a branch called checkout.
Checkout.
So probably not the best name for a branch.
Let's just start that one all over.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the DevOps Roundup. Today we're going to be taking a fun look at how to learn Git branching, because Git and branching is not always the easiest thing to master, but we're going to be looking at a pretty cool tool that I've been using for the last few years that I think does a decent job, if not a pretty good job, at teaching you how to branch.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. It's almost kind of like a gamification of learning Git.
And it's completely free. It's we'll drop the link here. It's in the description below, but it's going to be learngitbranching.js.org. It used to be something under pcoddle, which is technically that's still the name under the Git branch here, or the Git repo of pcoddle. But now I guess it's taken off and it's gotten some wings. But essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to have some fun with it and see if we can actually learn something.
Yeah. I've never used this particular learning device or tool. So this should be fun. We'll flounder our ways through this.
I think it's really interesting. Have you heard of Mark Rober?
Probably not. No.
He's a big YouTuber. He's got the Glitter Bomb 1.0,
yeah.
2.0.
Oh, yes. So anytime you ask if I know a YouTuber, the answer
I should just tell you what their channel does.
No. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely know him, and I have watched most of his Glitter Bomb.
So Mark is starting a new initiative. He has this thing called Crunch Labs, which is basically a giant warehouse that he's got in Silicon Valley, where he basically built the engineering Willy Wonka factory, but it's for engineering. And one of his new efforts or initiatives that he's doing for 2026 is he's going to be building a curriculum for teachers around the world to teach science and engineering from 3rd grade through 8th grade. And the reason why he feels so compelled to do this is like, well, a lot of people already watch my YouTube videos, and a lot of teachers push his YouTube videos out, but they're not really associated with any curriculum. But Mark Rober knows how to catch people's attentions, and then he calls it, he sneaks in the vegetables, right? He sneaks in the vegetables of the science and the engineering concepts by showing you something cool, and then you're like sucked into like, ooh, how does that work? And then he's like, well, there's thermodynamics and laws of this and the laws of that, right? And so he's sneaking in those vegetables into the meal. And I think this is a great way to kind of sneak in vegetables, right? Because Git, and if you just sat there and read a book on Git, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. No. But when you turn it into a bit of a game like this, it makes learning those commands a little bit more fun and exciting, as opposed to, again, just reading a book on terminal commands, which is ultimately what Git is. So
true. Yeah. If you're starting with the course material of version control, it's very hard to sex that up.
Very, very hard. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. So we're going to select the level. We're just going to start with level 1. And as you can see, there's a couple of different levels and then some remote stuff as well. So let's just start with number 1 here. And this will be an introduction to Git. And so a commit in a Git repository records a snapshot of all the tracked files in your directory. It's like a giant copy and paste, but even better. Git wants to keep commits as lightweight as possible, though, so it doesn't just blindly copy the entire directory every time you commit. It can, when possible, compress a commit as a set of changes or a delta from one version of the repository to the next. Git also maintains a history of which commits were made when. That's why most commits have ancestor commits above them. We designate this with arrows in our visualization. Maintaining history is a great way for everyone working on the project. It's a lot to take in, but for right now, just think of commits as snapshots of the project. Commits are very lightweight. Switching between them is wicked fast.
Wicked fast. So is this person from Boston?
So let's see what it looks like in practice. On the right, we have a visualization of a small Git repository. There are 2 commits right now. The first initial commit, commit 0, and 1 commit after that, commit 1. That might have been meaningful. That might have some meaningful changes. Hit the button below to make a new commit.
Okay.
You can see here, it makes a new commit, and there we go. Awesome. We just made new changes, and we have this new one. Okay, so let's go to the next step. So go ahead and give it a try on your own. After this window closes, make 2 commits. So what's cool is, right, it's not just a push and play. Like, we actually got to come over here and basically recreate the item on the right.
Okay.
So we have a commit 0 and a commit 1. And so we
Okay.
need to do basically 2 more commits.
Okay.
But on the left here, we have to write the code.
Yeah. And the only command it's giving us as a hint is git commit.
Yes. So we're going to type in git commit and hit enter. And that's C2. And then git commit again. And that's C3. And this is just to visualize those commits. Because again, if you're using Git for the very first time, the whole concept of a commit is easy to describe, but harder to visualize. And I think these little bubbles does a really good job of like showing like, okay, so you're basically adding a little bubble, which if you ever use like source tree, like you can see the little bubbles. I suffered so much because when you're trying to look at your like commits in the terminal, it is hard.
Yeah. Well, pretty much all the editors these days have a nice tree for you to look at. But so it glossed over a lot of things. So it has made us assume at this point that git commit is the only command we need, that we didn't actually need to add source lines of source code. We didn't have to do a git add or push or anything like that. So I'm assuming that it is going to start expanding on that.
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so too, right? Yeah, this is kind of the fate of like this is one of the reasons why I started my tech tutorials YouTube channel was because I got tired of watching the tutorials where they skipped all the good parts.
Well, the bane of writing tech courses is the majority of this stuff is intertwined enough that it's very hard to find the basic command to teach first. Everything builds on other commands. So you might be able to find the root command to teach everyone, the very first stepping stone. But the second stepping stone really depends on the third stepping stone. But you can't explain the third stepping stone without describing the second. And so you get into these loops when you're trying to teach technical courses.
Absolutely. I see it in Jira all the time too. Like try to explain the board. Well, you can't. You got to go back to the workflow. But to explain the workflows, you got to explain the work types.
And also, and when you're trying to explain a board, you have to now, okay, let's take a step back and tell you what a filter is, because the filter controls the board. But they may never ever write a filter. They may rely on somebody else to do the filters for them. But you need to teach the board. But to teach the board, you need to teach the filter. Endless circle,
so on and so forth. All right.
So where are we headed with? We're going to just jump directly to branches.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit harder because the commits was easy, but now we're going to start branching, which is really the bread and butter of Git. So branch early, branch often, because there's no storage or memory overhead with making branches. It's easier to logically divide up your work than having big, beefy branches. Which is why I don't know at what point did we leave Git flow and we went to trunk-based development.
Yeah.
Who made that call?
Well, trunk-based development pre-lives Git, or does pre-lives? No, that's not the right word, but it predates.
Predates. There we go.
Yeah. So we were talking about trunk-based development when we were all in Subversion and Perforce and tools like that. So that was at least 10, maybe 15 years before Git existed.
Right.
It was the big, debate, trunk-based versus, feature branches, which eventually was called Git, or eventually became Git flow.
I remember being in a room though one time we were looking at Atlassian's Git flow model. There was like 11 of us in that room, and all 11 of us walked out of that meeting with 11 different understandings of what Git flow meant.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I think maybe Git flow might have been too extreme on the other side of the pendulum.
Yeah.
All right. So with this, we're going to create a brand new branch called new image. And when we click on this, this I think helps, right? Is that basically that's it. You just created a branch.
You can see that there's no actual branch created. The branch is just a pointer to that same commit, because you haven't made any changes yet.
And the cool thing is that you can always go back in case you missed it, because the pointer is a little star for those of you watching along, right? The little star is still there, but we have a new little item here. And we're going to move this along, right? We're going to go to the next step, and you're going to see kind of how this star moves around. So we're going to hit a commit. And oh no, the main branch has moved, but the new image on the branch didn't. That's because we aren't on the branch, which is why the asterisk was on main.
Yeah.
So
the asterisk is the little star, the asterisk. That's where you're sitting at any one point.
Yeah. And so we're gonna do this command instead, which is a git checkout, which is, there we go. It's gonna move the branch, or at least this commit, out one. And so now we get to do it ourselves. No, in Git version 2.3, 2.23, I did not know that Git got updated.
It does. It gets updated very frequently.
Oh man. I hope they're not as bad as Atlassian is with their updates.
Oh, they are not. Yes.
Okay.
No one's that bad.
A new command called git switch was introduced to eventually replace git checkout. See, I'm still probably on Git 1. I remember
I'm sure you're not, but yeah.
No, I've never heard of git switch, but I do remember being in college, and I remember the very first time that this one guy who was like one of our best coders in our level of our class, of our of my peers, he's like, guys, y'all gotta check this out. It's called Git, and it's gonna change the world. And I remember him like doing a presentation on Git, and we're like, at this point though, like in college, the way we saved files, like literally like save a copy on your desktop and email it to yourself, or put it on a flash drive. And so this whole concept of like version control was like so foreign to us. We had no idea. It wasn't until 2013 that I learned Subversion that things made sense to me. But it would be a couple more years. I went Subversion, TFS, and then to Git. And I didn't enter Git until 2016.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard about Git, I was supporting probably 2, maybe 3 dozen different clear case deployments, and and walked into to Git, and that changed things completely. And it was only a number of years before the number of clear case deployments I was supporting were down to a handful.
Yeah, that transition went fast. I mean, I don't think there's any, if you're not on Git today, like I don't even think you're taken serious at this point.
Yeah, you're either out there using an outlier, like you're still using Mercurial or something like that, and that's a hill you'll die on, or you're using the legacy stuff. I don't know if there's anyone seriously taking on newer version control tools that are not Git based right now. I'm sure there's some fringe tool out there that's
going TFS use versions, Visual Source Safe or something like that.
Oh, that's legacy.
Is that still legacy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was one before Tortoise SVN was the client to use Subversion, right?
Yes, that was just the client. Yeah.
The Tortoise. Oh boy.
Yeah.
The years of, or the days of yesteryear.
Yeah, I can go on too much about old version control tools that no one should be using anymore, but let's move on with the tutorial.
Yeah, so we gotta make a new branch, and so we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a Git branch. Enter.
But you didn't quite do it right.
That is the one skill that you need.
Spelled it wrong. Yeah.
That is the one skill you need in the world of Linux, is you need to know how to spell or type correctly.
Normally, you have to tell it something. So it's basically Git branches without without a qualifier is just going to print the branch. And so it told you that you're on main. So if you do Git branch and tell it something, there you go. Well, so you just created a branch called checkout. So probably not the best name for a branch.
Oh man,
where's the undo button? Another one.
Where is the undo button?
Well, let's see if I'm not sure if we're truly using Git or if this is something that's just through. So see if you can do a remove branch and get rid of the checkout. That'd be a Git. Yeah. Oh, I don't think it's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have a bug fix, and now I just need to do a Git checkout bug fix.
And you need to spell it correctly.
Dang it.
There you go.
Ta-da!
So now it should show that we've got it checked out. Okay.
You solved the level 3 commands. Our
Yeah.
solution uses 2.
Oh, is it giving you shade?
Yeah, it's creating my inability to be efficient.
So Release Team, DevOps tool specialists. We provide professional services and software reselling around the leading software DevOps tools like Atlassian, GitLab, GitHub, JFrog, and others. To talk with us about DevOps, here's our contact information. Please call 866-887-0489 or via email at info@releaseteam.com.
Here and this one over there, and then set and the set of all the parents. It's easier with visual, so let's check it out. All right, so here we have 2 branches. Each one has a commit that's unique, bug fix, or the C2 and then this one. This means that neither branch includes the entire set of work in the repository that we have done. Let's fix that with the merge. So we're going to merge branch bug fix into main. So I would assume that green button is the stuff that I should be remembering.
Probably, yeah. Is it actually a button? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a button. Whoa, see that? First of all, main now points to a commit that has 2 parents. If you follow the arrows up the commit tree from main, so from here, you will hit every commit along the way to root as we go that way. This means that main contains all the work in the repository now. Also, you see how the colors in the commits changed. To help with learning, I have included some color coordination. Each branch has a unique color. Each commit turns a color that is the blended combination of all the branches that contain the commit.
Okay.
So here we see that main branch color is blended into all the commits, but the bug fix color is not. Let's fix that. Git checkout bug fix semicolon git merge main. What does this do? So we're currently in main. We're gonna move to bug fix, and then we're gonna merge to main.
Yeah. So this is basically 2 commands because you can see the separator there, the semicolon.
Yeah.
The first thing it's going to do is check out the branch bug fix, and when you check out the bug fix, that's pointing you to the latest commit on bug fix, and then it's going to merge main to bug fix.
Cool. And again, this is the stuff where you're reading the book, and until you break stuff, it's hard to learn it, or you visualize it in this tool. So
okay, let's see what we break in this next.
Yeah, let's see. So remember to commit in the order specified, bug fix before main.
Yeah.
So you can hide this window until, okay, so this is what we ultimately got to do. So what the heck am I supposed to do here?
Well, it looks like the branch is not created yet, so you need to create the branch.
Yeah, it says make it. It helps if I follow the instructions. Make a branch called bug fix. Shawn's like, this is why I don't hire you. Check out the bug fix branch with git checkout bug fix. Okay. Check. So the little star moved.
Yeah.
Commit once. So we're just gonna do a commit. I like the tab complete. Okay, so now we moved ahead. Go back to main with git checkout. So we gotta go git checkout
main.
Main. Now the cursor, the little asterisk has moved. Awesome. Commit another time. Oh boy, helps if I stay on the right screen.
Yeah. So this should branch off now.
Now, what's the point of this though? Like, what's the benefit here?
Oh, we're just forcing the need for a merge. That's all we're doing.
Okay, so but normally there wouldn't be a.
Normally you wouldn't have to do a lot of this stuff. Normally you would have 2 separate set of developers working on each branch, and then someone would need to do a merge.
Okay, so we're gonna do a git merge the branch bug fix into main with git merge. So we're gonna do git merge bug fix, and it pulls it in. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So right now you're currently sitting on main.
Main, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it a push or a pull? Like, do I need to be in the destination or in the source?
Usually it's a pull. Normally you want to sit where you want to merge.
Merge. So I'm in main. I want to be in main then, no?
Yeah, if the point of this, because I've already lost the point, is to merge into main, then yeah,
it was. It was. I just don't know how to spell again. The typing is what kills me in this job.
What'd you misspell?
Bug fix with the little F.
Oh, I didn't realize it had a capital F. Okay.
All right. Well, I think this is probably a good stopping point since we don't want to overextend. But let us know if you kind of like this, right? Because I would actually like to continue filming the rest of this because it's kind of cool to learn these concepts. But one of the things, Shawn, that we want to do for this channel, right, is to do in tutorials that kind of walk you through more real world, real use case type of scenarios here. So let us know if you're interested in those kind of things, because those are one of the things that we want to start working on over the next couple of weeks here.
Definitely. All right. Well, everyone, this is a short one this week, and see you on the next one.
Yeah, and just learn how to spell. Apparently, you'll be good at it.
Should we say like and subscribe and comment and bleep bloop and stuff like that?
Definitely subscribe. Out of all the things Shawn said, just make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're gonna do anything, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.